Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. I'm the microphone messiah on the line. I have the Canadian destroyer, Brandon Tanguma, and the sensational Sherry of the BC, Cindy G. How you guys doing? Brandon, how's it going?
I'm doing just fine. A little tired. It's a late night. WWE pay-per-views have been pretty short recently, but AEW hasn't gotten the memo.
Yeah, Tony Khan, he needs a lot of memos after tonight. We gonna talk about it. Cindy, how are you doing? We haven't podcasted in a while.
I know, right? It's been quite some time. I'm doing good. Been busy a lot, regarding like everything from NoDQ.com, live predictions to doing a live reaction on Teddy Turnbuckle's YouTube channel. So far so good. But I do have a lot to say about this pay-per-view, especially that main event.
All right, first order of business, the Bullet Cats Championship, a real world's title. God damn it, as far as I'm concerned. And as far as the record books are concerned, Brandon, you and Baby Huey tied. I talked about ties with the Bullet Cats Championship on Twitter. I don't really like that, you know? It devalues the prestige of the championship, you know what I'm saying? So, as of right now...
I have no idea what you're talking about, Phillip. It just makes it more prestigious because more people are holding it.
How many times have there been two WWE champions? Tell me.
It's kind of like an interim title
situation. The devil. Brandon, heads or tails?
Tails never fails unless it's heads.
Are you sure? All right, let's see. Let's find out. Baby Huey is the new Bullet Cast champion.
Yay!
Congratulations to Baby Huey. Was this his fifth run?
I'm filing an injunction with the commission.
With the commission. While I post that picture, Brandon, take over. We love the pre-show here. Tell us who was on it and what went down.
Well, we have the normal stuff. We have a bunch of video packages. Basically everything that you can see on their countdown show, they just repeated on the pay-per-view. But the only pre-show match was a women's tag team match. It was supposed to be Britt Baker with Rebel taking on Thunder Rosa and Riho. But Rebel, unfortunately, she was hurt, so she had to bow out. But instead, we have the debuting Maki Ito making her American debut, her AEW, well, I guess American AEW debut. She comes out, she sings. Cindy, very excited. What did you think of the Maki Ito surprise?
Well, that was a complete shocker. Like when they did the announcement like an hour before the buy-in saying that Rebel was hurt due to the bump from Nyla Rose during the semifinal match of the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament. And thus, of course, when Britt Baker come out saying that she found a partner, and of course, proof about like Rebel did hurt and all that stuff, music hit. That's why I freaking marked out so hard that Maki Ito came out. I just want to give you a little bit of history. Maki Ito was a former idol in a all-girl group before she got fired due to an appearance because of it. The Japanese music industry is so ruthless when it comes to appearance. So she decided to wrestle, and besides, like her gimmick is like more of a former idol turned lovable, but yet a very foul-mouthed wrestler. And so I was so happy, and it was such a shocking moment altogether. But the match itself, the match is pretty decent. A lot of like back and forth going on between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker and Maki Ito. Riho, she did an impressive job. It's like so many pinfalls, counters, suplex. And however, like Maki Ito did the diving kokeshi to Thunder Rosa, but Thunder Rosa did roll over. And that's where Riho did the missile drop kick altogether. But it was a pretty solid match. But of course, at the end, you got Rebel providing the distraction from Thunder Rosa, and thus Britt Baker took the advantage to do the roll up and pick up the victory. It was a pretty much a decent buy-in of the match for it, and I'm glad that we're going to be seeing more of Maki Ito because she's like one of my favorite, and she was my main pick to win the Women's Eliminator Tournament, but unfortunately she lost to, of course, Ryo Mizunami, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Maki Ito picked up a lot of steam. She was kind of the internet's favorite for the AEW Women's Tournament. Unfortunately, she didn't win. I never saw her before, so I made sure to check her out. I liked what I saw in the Japanese tournament side. The singing, I will say, was a little awkward. It was a little weird, especially being a debut. Not that many people in the stands. They can't really sing along with her. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I think she did very well. Phillip, what did you think of the match and the debuting Makito?
Let's see. I didn't even see the ending of it, and be honest with you.
And
Makito.
Phillip always missing the pre-shows.
I went to go get
Exactly.
some food, some nutrients, so I could sit here and do this with y'all. I did y'all a favor, okay?
Mhm.
But the singing, yeah, she like, no, baby girl, we gotta cut that out. Boo boo, it's not for me. I'm sorry. Like, I sat through years of Jillian Hall singing. I don't want to hear anybody sing to the ring. Now rapping, if she can spit some bars in Japanese, come holla at your boy. Yeah.
I guess we have to wait for Makito to start spitting some bars for now. Let's get on into the pay-per-view proper. They start off with a little tribute of Jim Crockett Jr. They had just a little picture with his year and death date. Ross introduces the show. Unfortunately, Jim Ross was struggling with some sore throat or something going on. Luckily they have Excalibur waiting in the wings and he can kind of take over.
Hey,
Did kind of suck, but
it,
I think they did well.
it's Jr. Having too many years yelling Austin. That's all that is. It finally caught up with him.
But later on, his voice is starting to feel better, which is pretty interesting. Like halfway towards the ending of the matchup.
Hey, he probably had some liquid courage or something. Had a shot of that yak. You know what I'm saying?
He had
Hmm.
some of John Moxley's flask. Well, the first matchup, we had the AEW Tag Team titles on the line. The Young Bucks, the champions, defend against Chris Jericho and MJF. Wardlow, of course, is in the corner of MJF and Chris Jericho. They go back and forth. It was not the stereotypical Young Bucks spot fest. They did do some ground and pound. It was more of a blood feud because of what MJF and Jericho did to old Papa Buck. At the end, 18 minutes, we get a Meltzer driver on Chris Jericho for the win, and the Young Bucks retain. And I thought a very good opening match. I thought maybe until the main event or even the Sting Darby match, I thought this was the best match of the show for a long time. Strong opener to the show.
Absolutely, man. It was good, and normally Nick Jackson when he hits that comeback, he hits it. He hit the comeback at the pace in which the match was, like not too fast, not too slow, just at a nice normal pace, and I really did like that. Jericho catching was it Nick Jackson with the code breaker once he springboard on the inside, but all in all, Melcher Driver got the 1, 2, 3, and the Young Bucks retain our AEW Tag Team Champions at Revolution.
Yeah, it is a pretty much a fun match, but I know some of the people are kind of like still trying to cool down with this whole like Maki toy surprise appearance from the buy-in. Well, it's like hard to like concentrate on the main card of this match. But all in all, it's a pretty impressive match. I'm very impressed with Jericho doing the lion saw, but then the Young Bucks did the super kick, followed by trying to do the BTE trigger, but MJF did broke the pin of it. But of course, the ending of it, it is the obvious that the Young Bucks is going to retain the title altogether. And besides, thank goodness I wore this I hate MJF shirt just for the occasion, because I do have like a hateful relationship of the character MJF itself.
What about the man behind the character? I hear it's the same guy.
50-50. That's a different story.
I'll hit up my friend Chris Jericho to find out. But Brandon, what else happened?
Well, what else did happen? We had the opening tag team match, and then we had the casino tag team battle royal. We had Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall taking on the Dark Order's 10 and 5 to start off. They had a countdown clock every 90 seconds. All the teams pretty much in the AEW tag team division come out. Speaking of the opening match, the opening teams, QT Marshall, I guess, like turned heel on Dustin. He was like angry at him, spit at him, and walked away. So the Natural Nightmares, is that their name? They're no more. I'm so sad.
Yeah, I am too. QT got them hair plugs. He could be pulling some girls now. So he's like, you know what? I'll need to hang out with this old man in the ring. Let me go do that. I don't know, man. Were Jack Evans and Helico in this? I don't think I saw them.
No.
Why weren't they in this?
They're too busy helping out Matt Hardy.
Really? So we can have 3 teams of the Dark Order in there? Really? There's only one team that matters. We all know that. It's Silver
10 and 5.
10. Yeah, because you still got beef with 5. Was it 10? You still got beef with him?
And he's looking a little better. I think he's been doing some full reps.
Okay.
Things getting better.
Okay. I don't got much to say about this until we get to the end because the end was fire. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is on fire. However, I was expecting some surprise like tag team appearance that we haven't seen before, but it was kind of like a little bit of a letdown to say at least. But all in all, this was an impressive like casino tag team battle royal, and we have as the final four, of course, two members of the Death Triangle, Jungle Boy and Johnny Hungy, John Silver, and it was such an incredible match of it. But the face off between Ray Phoenix and Jungle Boy towards the end, like as the final two, it was really impressive. I thought Jungle Boy is going to be the one that's going to win to him and Luchasaurus, but no, Ray Phoenix definitely eliminate Jungle Boy. Of course, Death Triangle did win the Casino buy-in battle royal, not buy-in, tag team battle royal. Kind of mixed up with these two, of course.
Yeah, clocks in at 27 minutes. Pok and Phoenix get the win. Should have saw this coming, especially with the spotlight match they had on Dynamite this past week. They are a pretty new tag team. Obviously, Phoenix and Pentagon are more the established tag team, and so getting Pok and Phoenix in there, I mean, I enjoyed the ending. As Cindy said, I thought the work that Phoenix and Jungle Boy were doing was phenomenal. I mean, you were just kind of waiting for all the teams to get in the ring. There's no surprises, which kind of, dragged it down a little bit. I kind of wanted maybe just all the teams in at the same time, and then we can kind of do what the other tag team battle royal was. But it was a little bit of a drag. 27 minutes to get the second match on the show, so we get like 2 matches in an hour. But overall, the ending I wouldn't say it made it worth it, but made it more tolerable.
Yeah, absolutely did make it more tolerable. I mean, hey man, Phoenix. I feel like I say it every week, man. He's just hella raw, like running on the rope and punting dudes in the head. Hopefully, he doesn't get fined for those thigh slaps. I mean, almost getting tossed up but swinging back into the rope and kicking Jungle Boy in the head and just getting the win for 2/3 of the Death Triangle. I'm excited to see what they do, man.
Yeah, and I believe that match is not taking place next week, but we will get, is it Matt Jackson taking on Phoenix? That should be a fun match on Wednesday. We get Dasha interviewing Paul White, asks him about a hint regarding the new signing. He didn't really say anything except for no one works harder than this talent, which is going to be the catchphrase of this person's gimmick, I guess. They show DDP just chilling in the crowd, and we got an Al Snow appearance. Then we move on to
what does everybody want?
Head.
What does everybody need?
Head.
Thank you.
All right, Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, takes on Ryo Mizunami, and Hikaru Shida retains at 15 minutes. Ryo kind of like, not taking it too seriously, having a little bit of fun. They told a story, Excalibur did, of Ryo kind of, not liking Hikaru Shida all that much, but at the end, got a little more serious, some good exchanges back and forth. This match was hurt by the fact that it was built up through a tournament. Shida didn't really have anything to do with the build up. She just kind of stands there. They did have some interviews that they ran before the match, but no storyline. Does, I think, hurt the match, but overall, though, I thought the work was good enough.
My pick lost. I don't like this match.
Oh my god, same here. You pick Ryo Mizunami?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, thank you. Because I thought I was the only one in the whole wide world that picked Ryo Mizunami. And the reason why, because with all due respect with Hikaru Shida, I feel that her being the champion is already run its course. And I was thinking to have someone different like Ryo Mizunami. And then she could lost the title to someone who is full-time in AEW, like within 2 weeks or so later on. But all in all, this match, I feel it's pretty decent, but it was too many pinfalls and near falls and kickouts, to say at least. But yeah.
Match was a little sloppy. They kind of played up the exhaustion aspect of it. I did pick Shida to win, mainly because I think if you're going to have, I do feel you should maybe have a more full-time wrestler there, whether it be Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, or, someone else. I wouldn't put it on, another Japanese wrestler who's just going to hold it for a couple weeks and we don't really have a connection to her. So I might as well just have it on Shida. She's the longest reigning champion on AEW right now. And I would say that her reign is probably coming to an end sooner rather than later. Who that is, I don't know. We're going to have to stay tuned and find out. After the fact, we get Nyla Rose and Nyla Rose attacking Shida, kind of setting up kind of a six-woman tag with all these women: Makito, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose against the three women of Rio, Shida, and yeah, there we go. Then we get we get the match. Blah, blah, blah. They announced that AEW Double or Nothing will be taking place in Jacksonville. No return to Vegas quite yet. I know, so sad, but something to expect. They said this is like their marquee show, so I guess they're kind of branding Double or Nothing like as their big WrestleMania-esque show.
It should.
Alex Marvez interviews Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy backstage. Then Miro and Kip Sabian attack them during the promo, and this leads into the match proper. Miro and Sabian win in 8 minutes. Nothing really to here. Orange Cassidy runs in, makes a save after getting laid out backstage. Miro pins. He pins or taps out, submits Chuck Taylor for the win. Cindy. Nothing really much, but they got in and got out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of the few. This is like my least favorite feud I ever seen from both Chuck Taylor and Miro. And plus, like, I'm getting really sick and tired from this whole like Miro being the best man. I mean, hello, the wedding is already freaking over. Like, what? Over 2 weeks or so. Like, seriously now. Like, I already went on a little bit of a rant during the No DQ live stream for the predictions video and on the last episode of Into the Stratosphere. It just needs to end all be all. I'm glad Miro did pick up the victory. However, you can see there has been a bit of a tension going on between Miro and Kip Sabian because Miro did push off Orange Cassidy, but he didn't see that Penelope Ford was on the apron where he actually like pushed Orange Cassidy, which causes Penelope to fell off from the apron, landed so hard, and that's where Kip was tending her so much. Like you could see, like at the end, there was like a bit of a tension going on, but who knows? We'll be seeing like if they're going to continue on with Miro and Kip being the alliance, or they're going to be started going their separate ways.
I actually picked Miro and Sabian. Super bad. Kip Sabian. I can't believe I picked Miro for something. Fire attire by Miro and Sabian, I might say. That stuff was fuego. But yeah, congratulations though, guys. Hopefully they can pick up some momentum and possibly get in the running for a shot at the All Elite Wrestling World Tag Team Championships.
Well, the men who could not capture the AEW Tag Team Championships was Jericho and MJF. They were interviewed backstage. Jericho and MJF, basically everyone in the inner circle, was selling frustration. Jericho said on Wednesday they're going to have a meeting because changes need to happen. MJF agreed with those changes, possibly setting something up, a turn, MJF taking power of the inner circle. We don't know, but we will see something with the inner circle on Wednesday.
Hopefully. Something drastic. Possibly Maxwell trying to take over the inner circle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then we get the big money match. Matt Hardy takes on Hangman Adam Page. They talked up the fact that Page is only 29 and Matt Hardy's been wrestling for almost that long. In the end, Page wins in 15 minutes, about the right length, maybe a tad bit on the long side. They wrestle pretty straightforward for a majority of the match, and then Private Party come out, but then the Dark Order come in and make the save. We had a lot of Dark Order on this show. I think they made 3 appearances like in total in separate different matches, and Page gets the win. He gets Matt Hardy's money. That was the right move. I said make Hangman win the match, keep him strong, and he can be on his way to the AEW World Title.
Well, yeah, how long you said this was 15 minutes? Maybe 8.5, maybe 7:45. I think that would have been fine. They were a little ambitious with this. Hangman Page, he officially did join the Dark Order, right? He hugged all of them, I assume so.
Yeah, like this match was like a little bit too long. Like I've seen throughout Twitter like on my Twitter timeline, like people are discussing about like who has the better pants, Matt Hardy or Hangman Page. Which, by the way, Matt Hardy's hands does kind of remind me of the late Mr. Brody Lee, which is kind of like a a nice tribute to it. But besides that, like the match itself, it's kind of like a bit of a letdown personally, because there has been like, it feels so much slow paced. Like I wanted this match to be over and done with. And I feel like having the Private Party and the Dark Order getting involved, it's like a little too late. They should have done it like, let's just say 3 minutes ago before the match. And it's like, let's just say it's kind of like fizzled out on my end. But I'm glad that Hangman Page did pick up the victory, and thus he'll get his first quarter money, of course.
Yeah,
I'm voting Rhinestone Cowboy, Hangman Adam Page with the better pants.
Okay.
Second that.
I see. What else happened?
Well, we get the ladder match. Winner gets the TNT title shot on Wednesday. A literal brass ring hanging above the ring. It looks like a Sonic ring. What was your guys' thoughts? I thought it looked corny as hell.
You see, this is where they try to make fun of Vinnie Mac in a brass ring, and this is where they look stupid. Why would you do that? You could have put anything else up there, literally anything else. This was like Vince Russo.
A briefcase, a clipboard.
No, you can't do the briefcase, or else we're copying WWE. You could have just put up a giant sign that said TNT. That's all you had to do. You could have did that.
A clipboard.
That would have been fine.
A Darby Allin plushie.
Now we're being egregious.
Sorry, killing the business. Platinum Max Caster comes out, cuts his rap. We get a
fire rap, by the way.
Get an Andrew Cuomo
and
dig.
Lola Bunny being flat chested.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I need a track of Max Caster and Doja Cat. I need that in my life.
Well, they did redesign Lola Bunny for the Space Jam too.
They nerfed Lola Bunny.
Yeah.
They did what?
They nerfed her.
They nerfed her.
They made her like regular schmegular average Joe.
She looks like a regular bunny.
Yeah, instead of like the Baba Boom type from Space Jam.
She had a breast reduction. I think I saw that. Yeah,
her back was hurting, so she had to get this
sadly.
removed.
Hey man, my back's been hurting from carrying this podcast world on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Me, TikTok video.
Anyways, we get Lance Archer with Jake Roberts, Scorpio Sky, Pentagon, Cody Rhodes, and the second surprise debut, we get Ethan Page. This was someone who people were thinking was a possibility, especially after he didn't sign with WWE, wasn't part of that big group. Cindy, you're more the Impact person. Talk us a little bit about Ethan Page and what he's been doing over there.
Well, Ethan Page, he has been, he's one half of the longest reigning Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champion alongside Josh Alexander, also known as the North, of course. And he has an impressive job, like being like a tag team specialist, but also he was part of the Ultimate X match back in, I believe, 2018, 2019, kind of like that. So I know that like his time with Impact Wrestling, like closer to the ending, wasn't even the best, especially how they kind of like written off very poorly during the last big Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view, which is Hard to Kill. So I'm very glad that he is now in AEW, where he's actually supposed to be belong to. So all in all, like I was very surprised that he made his debut, which I already speculated that he's going to be the surprise appearance, but it did happen, which it kind of gave me like very emotional, because I do have like personal history with Ethan Page, of course, and I have mutual friends. Me and Ethan Page, we do have mutual friends, of course. So yeah, and I could have been even more prouder to see him in AEW. It's very awesome. But all in all, I really enjoyed this ladder match altogether. So many high spots going on, especially I am very impressed with Max Caster. Like, he did impress the hell out of me, especially with that elbow drop on the top rope to Cody that actually landed on the ladder. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I'm not even a fan of him altogether.
It was tough. I got to check on my homie Cody. I thought this was great, man. Ethan Page making his surprise appearance. I popped for it. He's not the only Canadian they signed tonight. Wink, wink. Yeah, but I mean, all in all, Scorpio Sky, he grabbed the Sonic brass ring to get an opportunity to get Darby Allin the TNT Championship this coming Wednesday on Dynamite. Hey man, like day after Double or Nothing, I saw Scorpio Sky at the remaining events at Starcast. I was like, hey bro, you're gonna be a star. You're gonna be the face of this thing. Hence, he won the face of the Revolution ladder match. So that's what's up, man. I can't wait to see what he and Darby do on Dynamite Wednesday night.
Yes, the TNT title match will be on Wednesday. I'm a little intrigued to see what they do. They haven't been building Scorpio Sky all too much on the Dynamite show. So maybe they put the title on him with the excuse of Darby being a little hurt from the street fight. And I mean, if they put it on him and Scorpio gets a little more of a spotlight, I'm all for that. The match itself, I did enjoy it. It was a spot fest for the most part, but it wasn't like a stereotypical ladder match. They weren't flying all over the place. They wasn't, running and doing all these kind of things. It was more kind of powerhouse stuff, especially with Lance Archer and some of the other people. Cody, they were selling the shoulder for a majority of it. He did the old Roman Reigns thing or Randy Orton thing, gets carried to the back, but then he's such a valiant fighting wrestler that he came back and unfortunately couldn't get the win. Phillip, I'm sorry.
It's so you know what it's all right. He's gonna focus more on the office role. Brandy's about to have the kids soon. I understand. It's all right. We could take this L tonight.
Then we go to the commentators table and they kind of hype up the new signing. We don't get the big show. The big show doesn't introduce it. We just get a countdown clock on the Jumbotron from 10 to 1. And it is Christian Cage. Yes, or Christian. He has signed with AEW. The hype was a future Hall of Famer or a Hall of Fame level talent. And possibly a little bit of a disappointment, but for me personally, I wasn't expecting a CM Punk or Brock Lesnar, which is like the very tippy top. Somewhere in Christian's elk, I think that was about right. For me personally, I kind of wanted maybe a woman to be the surprise signing to maybe give a little bit more credibility to the women's division over there. But Cindy, what did you think of Christian being the surprise signing for AEW?
Well, Tony Khan did hinted that it is someone who is Hall of Famer worthy. He did hint that it is a male and it's one of his favorite wrestler. So I was like thinking about speculation, like, is it someone that is not in the Hall of Fame? Like, it was like so many names I could think of. Like, I was hoping for Chris Hero, kind of thinking outside of the box. But seeing Christian Cage, like, being in AEW, that was a complete shocker. And I was like, didn't he appear in the Royal Rumble? And isn't he signed with WWE? Which it was kind of like boggled my mind altogether. So I'm pretty skeptical how he is going to be in AEW. But I do want to say this. They actually played his old TNA theme. That was pretty something.
I'm pretty sure he owned the rights to that because I mean and I mean just looking at it like Christian and that tweet I found on Twitter and put it on the Bulletcast Instagram page, like it came true. Isn't that weird? Isn't that kind of weird, guys? Like, the only people that weren't there were like Nicolas Cage and Nick Gage, but everybody else was
Weird.
like I need to ask that dude for the lotto numbers. You know what I'm saying? But Christian Cage, man, Brandon had this conversation I think on the Bulletcast this past Thursday. Hall of Fame worthy talent, man. I mean, the guy's done amazing things. The only man in history to hold the big gold world heavyweight, the ECW, and the NWA heavyweight titles at the same time. He could add the AEW title to his repertoire. I was really looking forward to him and Christian having a nice little tag team reunion, possibly one of those tag team titles one more time. And I thought he was going to be involved in the storyline with Edge and Roman at Mania. Because, I mean, you looked at it and it was like, only possible people were like Kurt Angle, who put out the teaser video. There's Brock, he's not with the company anymore. There's always CM Punk. Honestly, I thought Show was gonna swerve us like he normally does. Was like, oh, it's me. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, congratulations to Christian Cage. The instant classic is back, and he's ready to show the world what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting to see on the WWE side of things why they didn't sign him or at least make him a little bit more of an integral part of that Edge feud leading into WrestleMania, especially because of the thing they had at the Royal Rumble. And I don't know if it was a money thing, if AEW just gave him more money, or if it's very similar to what happened with his run in TNA. Just WWE didn't see that much value in him, and so he's like, you know what, screw you guys, I'm leaving.
You know what? You know who we have to thank for this, right?
Who?
Randy Orton.
Oh.
If Randy Orton assaulted you or kicked you in the head in the last 2 years, you go to AEW. Matt Hardy, Paul White, Christian. Yeah. Who's next? Next?
Didn't he like kick Ric Flair?
He kicked Ric Flair.
Like Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels in the dark.
Sean, he's staying. But Rick, I mean, you never know.
What do you think they can get out of Christian? Is he? I would assume he's gonna be more full time compared to Sting. And do you push him to that type of level because you already have Jericho, you have Sting? Do you really want to have the ex WWE guys be a lot of your main event level talent?
I don't know, man. He could probably just wrestle around in the in the the TNT title picture, or he doesn't have to be in the title picture right just yet. Because let's be honest, I don't think Sting's winning the AEW title. That doesn't make any sense. Jericho, he may get it again, but somewhere down the line after he's done with the whole tag team stuff and the faction stuff. But I don't know, just you don't want to put him there right away because people are already saying it's all ex WWE, which I always say, name me one company that doesn't have former WWE talent. You can't.
Exactly.
So I don't know what we're gonna see, but I'm excited because Christian, he looks good. There's something about this current crop of guys that are in their 40s to early 50s. They've turned back the clock. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to Ethan Page and Adam Hangman Page versus Christian Cage and Brian Cage, if it's going to happen in the near future.
Well, I think Brian Cage just has to be Brian now, and then it's just going to be Ethan because you can't have people with the same last names according to Vince. That's how it works, right?
Adam and Michael Cole.
People just get too confused.
Adam and Michael Cole.
Well, he's not on main roster television yet. But
okay.
Anyways, let's move on to the penultimate match. We get the street fight. Taz joined the announcers on commentary. Sting and Darby Allin take on Ricky Starks and Brian Cage in a street fight. This was a pre-taped match. We get Starks and Cage get into a car. They drive to the undisclosed location, the same warehouse that that Sting and Darby did their little promo a few weeks ago. And a very good production value. I believe the commentators were commentating live. It wasn't a pre-tape. Everything commentators were reacting to that. I don't know if you want to go through everything, but kind of a spot fest going all over the place. I thought the production value was phenomenal. Very similar to the Undertaker AJ Styles match at WrestleMania. Kind of had that same vibe. Cindy, what did you think of this match? A cinematic match? I haven't seen one of these in a while for AEW.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the thing about it is, and I'm going to give it a constructive criticism, I think the commentary is very unnecessary because I rather see this type of a badass cinematic match that is like a action movie meets a thriller movie. And instead of listening to JR, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz on commentary, it kind of kills the vibe when you're watching a match that is so badass with a high production value, and yet it's being overkilled by commentary. That's just me, But anyway, yeah, I am very impressed with this match. Like you say, it's like a spot fest altogether. But hey, it was good seeing Powerhouse Will Hobbs, even though he was wearing an orange ski mask before taking off to reveal himself. And I want to say this, Sting is on his prime of his life. I'm very impressed with a couple of the moves that he's done, even though he did take some botches here and there, but he did an impressive job. And of course, he did this Scorpio Death Drop to Ricky Stark to pick up the victory, of course. But I really do enjoy the match, but the commentary needs to be axed altogether.
I was fine with the commentary, helps get the story going along. But look, man, how are you going to have two big-ass dudes in Cage and Hobbs, a pretty nice-sized built guy in Starks, and then, Hook, who's a growing boy? How are you going to have all of them take an L to an old dude and a skinny kid? Come on, man. That doesn't make any sense. That literally makes no sense. And it's supposed to be a street fight. If Sting and Darby Allin were in a legit street fight with all four of those guys, who's winning?
The old man had a bat, though.
That doesn't matter. He can have a walker and a crutch for all I care. That makes no sense. It was stupid. This hurts them.
But at the same time, it's just to regain Sting's credibility. Since
it would have been more important for him to win a singles match. This is Sting's first singles match in 5 or 6 years. The last time he was in a singles match was for a world title. That's how you build up that. He could have taken this loss. It would have been fine.
Do you prefer to watch have his singles match on Dynamite or on pay-per-view or either way?
It depends at the timing of it, well, he could have been. Let me think. Let's look at the card and let's see what could have been taken off. You could have taken off the Miro thing.
Yep.
That could have been blown. That could have been blown off on a big episode of Dynamite. You could have did that at the Crossroads episode this past week. You could have done something like that. Sting is a bigger name. You just give him like Starks or something, or give him Hobbs. Actually, no, don't give him Hobbs. Give him
Mm-hmm.
Starks, and then give him like maybe 6 minutes, and boom. Yeah.
Overall, I liked the match. I thought it was very well laid out. Sting did have kind of some obvious botches, but especially he kind of did that roll through pin of Starks in the ring. You can tell they kind of had to do some camera trickery, but I mean the drone shot where they went from the ring and they kind of panned across down whatever, like the stairway, and you go to Cage and Darby Allin fight. I thought that was beautiful. They fight in a room. They Hobbs and Cage throw Darby through some like glass panel or something, and only 13 minutes, so it didn't really overstay its welcome. I thought it was really well done. The commentary itself, I think I'd lean a little bit more with Phillip. I enjoyed it, especially kind of the banter back and forth, because Taz was, putting up with all the BS and they were just going back and forth. And they did kind of carry the storyline a tad bit more, but I can see Cindy's point of maybe just keeping it the way that we see the other cinematic matches. No commentary, just kind of have them talk some shit back and forth and kind of carry it that way via the sounds. But I thought this over delivered. I didn't know what to expect from Sting and Darby, if this was going to be pre-taped or if it was going to be in the ring, but it made sense. Have it right before the death match, so you give the crew members time to set up the death match. It made perfect sense.
Yeah, no, absolute lie. Absolute lie. All
Well,
right.
Speaking of that exploding barbed wire death match, we had Kenny Omega defending his AEW World Heavyweight title against Jon Moxley. Moxley comes out first, walking kind of into the crowd. He paces back and forth a little bit, takes a whiskey, takes a flask. Looked like he was having some trouble opening it, but then he finally got it once he got into the ring. Kenny, cosplaying as Terry Funk, makes his way into the ring. They do the whole ring introductions, and they are off to the races. They have a countdown clock of 30 minutes, but it did not go the entire 30 minutes. The official time, if I can bring it up, around 27, maybe 26 minutes. They had around, a couple minutes left to spare. And I thought this was very well done. Maybe the best worked death match maybe ever. I mean, athletically, I thought it was phenomenal with Onita and the Funk and, other matches of that ilk. It was it's not going to have a lot of movement compared to what this match had. And I thought this was kind of the perfect melding of that old school death match with today's more athletic wrestling.
Cindy, what'd you think?
Well, I do enjoy this match, especially like the couple of the spots, especially Moxley got the first exposure of the barbed wire. So it is a good storytelling going on between both guys. I mean, you saw like exploding barbed wires, exploding barbed wire board outside of the ring, even though that is like the weak, like somewhat of a dud, because I expected a little bit more explosion from it, but the barbed wire ropes is definitely the one that actually steals the show. And surprisingly enough, the Good Brothers came out with a big ass barbed wire bat, but lo and behold, Kenny did swing Moxley with the barbed wire explosion bat. I was like, that's pretty impressive. I thought we're going to be getting like more of like an explosion effect from it all, but then it's kind of like pretty solid too. However, because like with this match, honestly, the Onita versus Terry Funk's match definitely tops this more than this particular match altogether. I do enjoy it a lot, but I'm very impressed with like this like heavy hitting move set all together. And then of course Kenny with the one winged angel on the barbed wire chair to Moxley to retain the AEW world title. That was very incredible. However, like the ending of it all, I feel like the ending was like a little bit of a letdown, because they're taking so much time to beat down Jon Moxley, handcuffed him just to leave him there to wait till like the countdown clock came by. And then of course, surprisingly enough, Eddie Kingston with the family trying to attack the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega, whatever. And then Eddie Kingston, you thought they were going to make a save, but y'all, what the hell is going on with this explosion? That is the weakest crap I ever seen. Like, I've seen better exploding barbed wire death match from Onita versus Terry Funk and Onita versus Hayabusa, but this is the weakest shit ever seen. And Moxley and
It's
Eddie.
Bulletcast After Dark. You can cuss.
Okay. Weakest shit ever seen. I'm sorry, y'all. So whatever. Like, seriously, I've seen better deathmatch with this crap Ola from it all. But hey, I'm not gonna let that weakest shit ever seen at the ending to enjoy this pay-per-view after all. But at least John Moxley did admit that Kenny Omega might be a bad son of a bitch, but he can't build an exploding ring worth of shit. So he did admit it for it all too. You thought everybody died, but no, they no soul. But yeah, I enjoyed the main event, but the ending was a big letdown.
Yeah.
Why would you play games with me?
Why would you play games with me, Tony? I wanted something more. I wanted to see carnage. I wanted to see burning flesh. I wanted to see all that stuff, and it wasn't there.
Exactly.
You know what? Randy Orton, he set a man actually on fire. You know what? I wanted more from these people. I really did. You give me some Gilbert sparklers. Really, Tony?
Yeah.
You're a billionaire.
At least Moxley bled, which is not enough.
You can shove out a couple of foul for some actual pyro. Really.
I was waiting for the ring to cave in or something or another after, like I was ready for, because they did the sparklers and then it was like, okay, is there gonna be something else? And then it just stopped. And then the crowd booed. Like you could audibly hear the whatever, like maybe 2,000 people there booing. And that was like the only time they really like shitted on anything, which I think rightfully so, because when you advertise an exploding barbed wire death match and you do the exact same finish from Onita Terry Funk, and yet the Onita Terry Funk thing from 30 years ago had a better explosion than this.
Exactly. And I was like one of my favorite part. I've watched that match 3 times total this week just for the high expectation. And then we're seeing this weakest shit I ever seen. This is like, is AEW is too afraid to like have Moxley and Kingston being extremely hurt? Like, come on now. Like, you're better than that, AEW. Like, shit.
I will say, I really did like the homage with Eddie Kingston coming out to save John Mox. I thought that was phenomenal. I mean, if you know, it made it that much better. But then, yeah, the explosion, if you can even call it an explosion, did kind of put a damper on that. Because, I mean, I thought it was just phenomenal. Because, I mean, Eddie King, they told this like long-term story of them being friends, but yet they're fighting. They kind of hate each other, but they also really love each other. And I said it on the podcast when I picked the Onita Funk match as a match pick, like if they had like Seth Rollins versus John Moxley in this type of match, they could do that exact same finish, but yet they did that exact same finish with Eddie Kingston, which I didn't see coming. And I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I wanted more. I really did. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed in them all. I really am. Yeah.
That being said, the match itself, the 27 minutes of work, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, a lot of blood. I didn't feel like they went too over the top. Like, yes, this one had blood compared to their Full Gear match, but I felt like this was not as big of a spot fest, as big of like a geek show as that other one was, where they had like those rat trap things and they had like the contrived spots. This one, they have the kind of dumb explosions and the barbed wire, but it felt a lot more real than their hardcore match they had a year and a half ago.
Yeah, we gotta talk about. I mean, the foot on the rope in that explosion. Kenny's face is like,
yeah.
And then one of those pops, one of those explosions got me. It's like, oh snap! That was all really cool. I think the exploding bat was really awesome. Also, there was some good work involved, but all in all, there was a huge letdown. They got me up there. They were supposed to climax this, and they didn't. It's a damn shame.
I mean, I love the beatdown with the Good Brothers. The explosion's coming, and then you add on top of the extra drama with Eddie Kingston. I thought they were really crescendo into something, but then just the explosion. I know we keep harping on it, but that explosion really was a letdown, and I think that really sucked the air out of everything that they were building up to. Which I thought everything else was like A+ stuff, but then the very end just was an F.
Yeah, and like on social media, people are like egging about this main event of the match too. They said like, oh, this pay-per-view is the worst because of the main event, kind of like ruined it. It's like, come on now. You're just gonna have one crapola ending ruin like one of the pay-per-view that is like pretty enjoyable, and yet like the ending is actually kind of like effective by it. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it was all just bad. Well, let's wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. AEW Revolution 2021 is in the books. What is your grade? We give letter grades here. Cindy, what are you giving it?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Even though the ending of the pay-per-view was a letdown for it, but all in all, I do enjoy the pay-per-view itself, even though my favorite match of all time, because I'm kind of like very highly invested by it, is the ladder match, of course. My least favorite would have to be Adam Hangman Page versus Matt Hardy. It's way too long, and I just feel like this feud should have been on Dynamite, and so is Miro and Kip Sabian versus Best Friend altogether. But for my letter grade, I'm gonna give it a B minus. Just saying, to be nice.
Brandon.
I wouldn't say this was the worst AEW pay-per-view. I think I would still put All Out over that. This is maybe the second worst, but it was still like a decent show. That being said, it's kind of on the AEW curve. I think I'm going to give with Cindy a B minus. I really enjoyed the tag team match. I think maybe out of the classic matches outside the death match, I thought that was the best one. The Sting Darby Allin street fight was enjoyable. Nothing was like too over the top. They didn't have, the greatest tag team match I've ever seen in my entire life compared to last year. But overall, I think a really solid show, but kind of disappointing on AEW standards.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna just give it a C. It didn't. There was potential, or I'll give it a high C plus, like a 79.6. You know what I'm saying? There was potential to do some good stuff, but they didn't deliver for me.
I think the length of the show also hurt. Like even the tag team battle royal, like I would honestly take that out altogether. That's a half hour you can dedicate on a Dynamite, and you can take that off the pay-per-view, and the Hangman Matt Hardy stuff, the Miro stuff, and you can have those core 4 or 5 matches. Keep it tight at like 3 hours, and I think it makes it a lot better.
Absolutely, that's what they should do. They should take rules from Brandon. Brandon,
exactly.
You know what? You want to hop on one of those media calls when I'm on one time? Then you can hit Cody with that.
I got the hard-hitting questions for Cody.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll try to make it happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for all of us. Cindy, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm on TikTok at simply_C_OK. Also, you can find me on NoDQ.com. I normally do predictions video for only AEW. And I'm mostly on Teddy Turnbuckle's YouTube channel doing live reaction video for Impact Wrestling. Well, not anymore because I'm doing mostly on AEW stuff for now on. And also a new episode of Into the Stratosphere will be coming up this week where I'm going to be doing a prediction for the Impact Plus special Sacrifice.
All right, Brandon, where can the people find you?
Well, follow me on Twitter and the Instagram. Go to my other show that I do, Curveballs and Chair Shots. Every Friday, we talk sports and wrestling, curveballs and CS. Got a link tree. You can click on it in the bio. Takes you everywhere else you need to go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow me at HeelAntwine, HeelAntwine on the Twitter and the Instagram. The Bulletcast on Instagram, the Bulletcast on YouTube, at Bulletcast on Twitter. Follow my other podcast, Complex Conversations, COMPLEXX Conversations on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, the next time the Bulletcast Championship is on the line is the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. We need discrepancies. Thank you guys so much. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So is the microphone Messiah. Aye, aye!
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.